this week read the Parashat Achrei Mot-Kedoshim. I want to start off by reading a poem called The Pebble by James Foley. Drop a pebble in the water, just a splash, and it is gone. But there's 100 ripples, circling on and on and on. Spreading from the center, flowing out onto the sea. And there is no way of telling where the end is going to be. Drop a pebble in the water, in a minute you forget, but there's ripples, little waves are flowing, and there's ripples circling yet. And those little waves are flowing to a great big wave have grown. You've disturbed a mighty river just by dropping in a stone. Drop an unkind word or careless, in a minute it is gone. But there's 100 ripples, circling on and on and on. They keep spreading from the center as they go, and there is no way to stop them once you've started them to flow. Drop an unkind word or careless, in a minute you forget, but there's little waves of flowing, and there's ripples circling yet. And perhaps in some sad heart a mighty wave of tears you've stirred, and disturbed the life that was happy before you dropped that unkind word. Drop a word of cheer and kindness, just a flash and it is gone, but there's 100 ripples circling on and on and on, bearing hope and joy and comfort on each splashing, dashing wave, till you wouldn't believe the volume of that one kind word you gave. Drop a word of cheer and kindness, in a minute you forget, but there's a gladness still a swelling, and there's joy circling yet. And you rolled a wave of comfort whose sweet music can be heard over miles and miles of water just by dropping one kind word. One of the main themes discussed in these two Parashat Achrei Mot-Kedoshim are the mitzvot ben adam lechavero. The pasuk ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha explains to us we have to love our fellow like we love ourselves. The great Hillel expands on this and says, what is hateful to you, don't do unto your friend. Rabbi Akiva says, Ze klal gadol b'Torah. This is a great principle of the Torah. Why would Rabbi Akiva put so much emphasis on this one mitzvah when there are so many others? Well, we can learn a lot of things from this. First off, if we want to try to do the mitzvah ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, we have to start small. One little raindrop in that poem made 1,000 ripples. And one good deed that we do makes a difference in someone's life. And sometimes it's too big for us to see. Just like Rabbi Hillel explained, we have to be careful and prevent to do bad things to other people, because those bad deeds leave their mark, and even if we forget what we did a minute later. The smallest thing we do or say makes a difference in someone's life and can either make or break their day. And that's a major thing we need to be aware of. This is why Rabbi Akiva tells us the most important and the most difficult mitzvah to observe is the mitzvah of ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.